All right, you guys, it is time again for another tier list and going to a lot of festivals and going camping a lot. I eat a lot of freeze dried meals, and Mountain House is the one that I've eaten the most. So I would say that I am somewhat of an expert on this subject. So we're going to rate each of the Mountain House meals right now. All right, let's see here. What we got first? We got breakfast hash. So I actually find that um, the eggs and the potatoes actually reconstitute pretty well. So I would say that out of all of the breakfast ones, this one is probably one of the better, although I wouldn't say that the breakfast ones are my favorite. I would often opt to just eat one of the regular meals, but I think that I'm going to go hit breakfast hash as an A because you can roll it up in tortilla. It's actually pretty good with some hot sauce. So breakfast hash is an A. Okay, biscuits and gravy. Biscuits and gravy sounds like a good idea, and it does taste pretty good. It reconstitutes pretty well. The biscuits, they turn out a little mushy, but the gravy tastes good. But the real problem with biscuits and gravy is that if you're out in the woods, is that really what you want to be eating? Like, it's pretty oily, kind of weighs you down, and then, you got to go into the woods, probably dig a pretty big hole. I don't know. Biscuits and gravy, I would say that the taste is maybe like a B, but just because of how it makes you feel out in the mountains, I think, or just out when at a festival or when you're camping, I think we're going to go biscuits and gravy probably in the, let's go with the D tier. All right, what do we got here? We got scrambled eggs with ham and peppers. Okay, so I actually think that this one is not too bad. And again, you can make like a breakfast burrito with it if you just have a tortilla that you heat up. And it's actually pretty good, although it doesn't have the potatoes. So the eggs do reconstitute pretty well, but I wouldn't say that it's one of my favorites. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in the C tier. And again, I think that the taste of the biscuits and gravy might even be better than the scrambled eggs with peppers. But again, I'm also factoring how you feel, So we're going to put this at a C. All right, what do we got here? We got breakfast skillet with eggs, pork sausage, peppers, and onions. Okay, so this is just a better version of the scrambled eggs with peppers because it has sausage in it. I don't think it's as good as the breakfast hash. I think the potatoes really give a good texture and a good variable, gives you some carbs. And I just don't think the breakfast skillet really matches up. So I think we're going to put this at the B. I definitely think it's better than the scrambled eggs, and I definitely think it makes you feel better than the biscuits and gravy. Okay, so we got a pretty good start right here. What do we got here? Rice and chicken. Okay, so here's the truth about rice. I fucking love rice, okay? I eat rice every day. I'm probably by weight 50% rice. But the problem is that when you reconstitute rice, it doesn't evenly. There's no way to get the boiling water into the rice enough so that it's perfectly reconstituted. Like, there's always going to be crunchy, hard bits that you're going to chip a tooth on, and there's going to be mushy bits. And I've literally tried opening up, stirring it a million times, squishing the bag around. Like, it's just not possible. So I think that just being rice in the dish is not one of the better forms of carbs, just because there's no way to reheat it evenly. You're always just going to end up with some crunchy and some mushy rice. So I think that the rice and chicken, I would still eat it, but I think this is kind of down with the C tier. Okay, what do we got next? Fusilli pasta with Italian sausage. Okay. So pasta, I do think that if you follow the instructions correctly, does end up cooking very evenly and has a really nice texture to it. It doesn't end up mushy like rice. Sort of on the same level of potatoes. So I'm actually going to put this at the A tier. I'll never be upset if I eat this flavor. I've never been upset. And when I followed the instructions, I even put maybe 20% less water than it calls for to get sort of an al dente texture so that it's not... it pretty much eliminates the chance of it being mushy. Other than that, I follow the instructions to a T. It's very important when you're cooking something, when you're cooking one of these meals. All right, let's see here. Spaghetti with meat sauce. So I find that the meat sauce in Mountain House is highly acidic. So it does taste good, but it kind of factors into the biscuits and gravy. It's like, how does it make you feel? And I just find that, if you've done any drinking or maybe you have some sort of like compromised stomach from maybe other things you've ingested, it's just really not, it doesn't give you the best stomach feel. So I do think that it tastes good. The noodles are okay. I don't think that it's the best form of noodles, but do think they reconstitute pretty well. But I'm going to go ahead and put this in the C tier. I think this is on par with the rice and chicken. It's never really my go-to. It's just a little too acidic. All right, what do we got here? Homestyle chicken noodle casserole. Okay, so I think that this has a lot going for it. Okay, so chicken, I do think, is probably one of the best proteins to be in freeze-dried. I find that it kind of just turns out the most evenly, and sort of chicken doesn't really have any flavor in the first place. So it's not like when you bite into like completely bland, like beef or pork or something, it's kind of weird, but chicken already doesn't have any flavor. So, when you rehydrate it kind of just tastes the same as it already does. Obviously it's not as good as like fresh chicken, but it's not bad. I do think that the cream in it does give a pretty good taste. I think we're going to go with a solid B tier. This is a solid B. Okay, chicken fried rice. So, chicken fried rice, what it does have going for it is that I think that part of what makes the rice and chicken is the sauce sort of makes some of the rice turn out kind of mushy. And so the chicken and fried rice doesn't really have that, but because it's still rice, so it's still going down a peg or two. There's just no way that rice can ever really be an A tier or an S tier. So I do think that the chicken fried rice is better than the rice and chicken. So we're gonna go ahead and put that in the B. Beef stew. Okay, beef stew, I gotta say, delicious. It's hearty. The stew is pretty thick, depending on how much water in it. You can put a little bit less water in if you'd like it thicker, a little more if you want it thinner. But overall, the beef stew, like I really like the carrots that are in it. I think it's got a good spread of vegetables. It's got a good the beef does taste pretty good, and it's because the beef is sort of being emulsed in the beef stew, it doesn't really lose its flavor. So I think the only thing missing from it, though, is going to be a carb. So there's no like really hard. Well, the potatoes are pretty good in this one, but I kind of think that the potatoes are better in the breakfast hash because they don't really get mushy in the hash when they're dry. But in the stew, I think that they just kind of turn out like that shitty, like Chunky's or Campbell's texture. So I do think this is better than the C tier. So we're gonna go ahead and put this in the B. Okay, chicken teriyaki. So chicken teriyaki, I pretty much put in the same place as chicken and rice. If anything, the teriyaki sauce, it is decent, but it also like makes the rice mushy. And then on top of not being able to rehydrate evenly, I think we're gonna have to put chicken teriyaki down in the C tier as well. All right, what do we got here? We got Italian style pepper steak, rice and tomatoes. I mean, there's not really much I can say about this. I do think that it does have the advantage of not having sauce with the rice. So we're going to just go ahead and put that in the B. I would definitely eat that. Noodles and chicken. Okay, chicken noodle. Chicken noodle. Honestly, I think chicken noodle's an A. Very agreeable on the stomach. The taste isn't bad. Put some hot sauce in it if you want. Never been upset about eating a chicken noodle Mountain House. So, yeah, we're going to go ahead and put that in the A tier. Oh, all right. Pasta Primavera. Now, can I just say, Pasta Primavera has the best vegetables out of any Mountain House meal. It's got a great spread. On top of that, it's not really soupy, so that the pasta and the vegetables don't really get soggy. It is really important to follow the directions. And like I said, I usually put like 20% less of the recommended water in there, or maybe like 10%, 10 to 20% less. But we're going to go ahead and put Pasta Primavera up to the motherfucking S tier. This is the best one I've had, the best one on the menu. Never had Never had a bad experience with pasta primavera. You could even like mess up the measurements a little bit. It's still going to be delicious. It's the most filling. Well, actually, no, it's not the most filling. It is the easiest on the stomach. It's the most nourishing, has the best vegetables, and also has pasta in it, and then isn't overwhelmed by a sauce. It's just got everything going for it. So, pasta primavera, the first S tier. All right, what do we got here? Mexican style rice and chicken. I think that it just kind of falls into these other categories. I mean, there's not really much more I can say about the rice. I don't really see a rice one ever reaching the A tier. And because it doesn't have the sauce and it does taste quite good, I think we're just going to go ahead and put this in the B. Okay, beef stroganoff with noodles. Okay, now we got some conflict here because the taste is delicious. I mean, I love beef stroganoff. Obviously not going to be, your German friend's grandma's stroganoff, but it does taste good. But again, kind of like with the biscuits and gravy, you got to really think about how it's going to make you feel after the meal, especially if you're out camping or at a festival or something. So I would say that the taste for a beef stroganoff is an A, and I don't think it makes your stomach as upset as the biscuits and gravy. So I think we're going to go ahead and put this in the C tier. Maybe like a high. I mean, I'm not really ranking them within the tiers. It's either like a low B or a high C. I think we're just going to put it in the C tier. Again, I would eat it. I would eat a lot of these in the C tier, but they're just not my go-tos. I've tried them once, maybe twice, and I'm like, you know what? I've had enough. I know which ones are good now. All right, let's see here. Macaroni and cheese. Okay. So this is a little dramatic here. I'm not going to lie. But honestly, I would rather fucking starve than eat that garbage. Like, if you want mac and cheese, you have so many better options. Like, I would go with the Annie's mac and cheese. I'd even eat some of that Kraft in a cup that you just reconstitute. It just ends up, I don't think that the cheese flavor is that good. It just ends up soggy. So we're putting this in the fucking trash tier. Honestly, I would rather starve for a day than eat that garbage. All right, what's next? Chicken and mashed potatoes. Okay, mashed potatoes. So I actually think chicken and mashed potatoes, it belongs in the A. I think that the mashed potatoes, when rehydrated, it makes a really good texture. I mean, you can't really fuck up mashed potatoes, just like those Idaho spuds or whatever. Like, it's actually pretty good when you have powdered or, dehydrated mashed potatoes. So, and then, like I said, wait, where'd it go? Did it disappear? Yeah, chicken and mashed potatoes. No, it's right there. Yeah, like I said, I think chicken is the best protein. And I think that the mashed potatoes is a really nice texture. Again, there's no like crazy sauce on it. I think it's good on the stomach. It makes you feel good. Never regret having chicken mashed potatoes. Oh, you know what? Does this go in the S tier? I think we're gonna. Nah, we're gonna leave it in the A. We're gonna leave it in the A. All right, chicken fajita bowl. Chicken fajita bowl. Chicken fajita bowl. I do like the vegetables that are in it. And you know what? I actually think we're going to put this in the A, and I actually am going to move the chicken and mashed potatoes up to an S tier. Because I think that now that I'm looking at it, the chicken and mashed potatoes, I would put well above most of these other ones. So, chicken and mashed potatoes, S tier. And same with the pasta primavera. All right. Let's see what we got here next. Homestyle turkey dinner. Homestyle turkey dinner. Now, if you're out like camping on like, Thanksgiving, and you really want some like turkey dinner and you didn't have a chance to prepare it, I understand. I understand if that's what you go for. But honestly, turkey is just most of the time just a shittier chicken. And like, it's like, I don't like the Beyond Burgers because they're trying to be meat, okay? But like field roast, I like field roast. It tastes good and it's not trying to be meat. This one, you're trying to recreate an Italian dinner and you just can't do that, You should stick to being something that you are. And what you are is a freeze-dried meal. So honestly, I'm going to put the Homestyle turkey dinner, although the mashed potatoes are good, we're going to put that in the C. Chili mac and beef. Oof. Chili mac and beef. So, like I said, I don't think that beef is one of the better freeze-dried meats and proteins. And although I do like pasta, I think that sort of the combination of the beef sauce and the macaroni isn't very good. You know, I think it's a little bit hard on the stomach. It's a little bit acidic for me. And then I think that it's just a little too thick. So I think we're going to honestly, and not only that, but it makes your stomach kind of feel like shit the next day, or maybe, 2 hours later, depending on what your shit cycle is. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in the D. Lasagna with meat sauce. Okay. Lasagna with meat sauce. I mean, this one also too, it kind of sounds like a good idea. Sounds filling, but there's a lot of things that are not going for this one. So first of all, lasagna. Actually, lasagna is pretty delicious, but I think mostly is that the pasta again is just soaked too much in the meat sauce, and then it's hard on the stomach. There's just a lot of beef, and then the tomato sauce too is just really highly acidic. We're gonna have to go ahead and put this one in the D tier as well. Oh, I missed one. Scrambled eggs with bacon. Okay. So those are like two things that if you're going to like go camping or go to a festival, you probably have on you. Like I don't really see a scenario where like scrambled eggs and bacon is like the thing that you don't have when you're camping. It's also missing a protein. Like the eggs are okay, but it's not necessarily my favorite. And I'm just not the biggest pork fan. I'm not really the biggest bacon fan. Call me like a fucking heathen or whatever, but I'm just not. So I'm going to go ahead and put this. I think this is above the D tier because you can still make a pretty tasty breakfast burrito out of it, but we're going to go ahead and put this in the C. Chicken and dumplings. Chicken and dumplings. Okay, so I don't know if this is like maybe an Asian thing, but like I have a really high standard for what a dumpling should be. Okay. When I think dumpling, I think of like shumai or like fucking a soup dumpling or like a pot sticker with a filling inside. Like I don't know where like people get off on calling just like a piece of dough or flour thrown into a pot a dumpling. Like I just don't get it. Like a dumpling should have some substance to it. Dumpling should have a filling inside. A dumpling means something, okay? And it doesn't here. It's just a piece of dough. And honestly, if I had to eat this, I think I'd rather starve. The flavor's not good. I don't want to just chew on a piece of dough. Actually, I don't know if I'd rather starve. I should have put this at the trash tier. You know what we're going to call this? We're going to call this the trash tier. Because honestly, I feel much better about putting this in the trash than I do saying that I would starve from it. Because honestly, I fucking love eating. So, it's very unlikely that I would actually starve. So, all right. I guess that's it. This is the Mountain House meal breakdown, which is just the ultimate truth. If you disagree with me, I'm sorry, you're just wrong. Or, something's wrong with your taste buds. Or you probably think a dumpling is just a piece of dough. So, pasta primavera, chicken and mashed potatoes. The 2 S tiers. The A tiers, breakfast hash, fusilli, noodles and chicken, and the chicken fajita bowl. All right, I guess that's it. So I guess like and subscribe if you want to see more of this. And next time you go pick up a Mountain House meal, now you know which one to get. Peace.